Today we're looking at this girl. She had 18 kids.
Well,
Let's get
I
started.
managed to do it, and I couldn't possibly be happier. Let me tell you a bit about myself. I grew up in a big family with lots of other children. I'm the youngest of 10 brothers and sisters, so you can imagine how busy my family home was. Everyone was always meddling in each other's business, and though it was sometimes a mess, we really loved each other. And no, we are not some creepy religious cult or anything like that. My mom and dad are super normal people who are just used to big, happy families. They each have lots of siblings of their own and loved the idea of having many sons and daughters. So not only did I have all those older brothers and sisters, but also aunts and uncles and cousins. So many of them. It was amazing, and we all had so much fun together. You can only imagine how our family reunions go. To me, having many children was super normal, and that was what I wanted to do. So when I met Tommy in middle school, I knew I had found the love of my life, even if we were both super young. He was really smart and funny and so cute. He also came from a big family, just like my own. Well, a bit smaller. They were 7 siblings instead of 11, but that was a lot more than many families, you know? What's funny is that he was the youngest, just like me. We had so much in common, and we both agreed that having big, happy families was the best. We began dating almost immediately, and it didn't take us long to find ways of being together all alone. Well, as you might guess, one thing led to another, and soon I became pregnant. My mom and dad weren't super happy about it since they wished I would have waited a bit longer. That being said, they loved the idea of having a baby in the house again. To our surprise, it was not just a single baby, but 3. Yes, I had triplets. Tommy was super supportive about it, and he promised to help me take care of our babies. He kept his word, and we continued dating. I was so in love with him, and we adored our 3 sons. It was so perfect that I asked myself, why not have even more babies? I didn't tell my mom and dad about my plan because I knew they wouldn't exactly agree. I did speak to Tommy though, and he was super supportive. We were in high school by then, and this time around, I didn't get pregnant by mistake. We absolutely were trying to have more babies. This time, it took us a bit longer to actually get pregnant, but that was okay. We were very busy with the triplets and our studies, so it wasn't as if we were desperate for it to happen. But when I turned 15, I began feeling sick in the mornings. I knew those symptoms all too well, and so I rushed to the pharmacy to get myself a pregnancy test. I was so happy when it turned out to be positive, and I called Tommy at once. We celebrated that night and could already imagine another cute little baby filling our lives with joy and happiness. The only problem was, it wasn't just one baby this time around either. Yes, you guessed it, it was triplets. But now we had 3 girls. It was so perfect. I couldn't even understand how we could be so lucky. My mom and dad didn't really scold me this time around, if I'm perfectly honest. They sort of assumed that I knew what I was doing by then and accepted that they were going to have 3 more grandchildren to love and spoil. They decided that since Tommy and I already had so many children to take care of, it was better if we had a place of our own to look after the 6 babies. They had us move into the guest house at the back. Yes, as you might have guessed, my family was well off. It wasn't as if we were crazy rich or anything like that, but we did all right. Tommy's parents were far richer than we were, honestly. He asked his dad to let him work at the family business to support me and the babies, and my father-in-law said yes. Tommy was young, like 16 at that time, but he was so bright and inventive, he did really well there. He began adding new ideas and improving the business, and in no time, he was actually making the company earn even more money. That was cool because it meant that he could actually pay for the diapers and the formula, as well as pretty clothes for all our sons and daughters. When I got pregnant for the 3rd time, I knew that I had to stop going to school. I simply didn't have the time to do it all at once. Don't be thinking I'm a high school dropout or something like that, though. I totally graduated, and ahead of time to boot. I just studied from home. Basically, I was homeschooled in a way, but I studied on my own. I didn't need any tutor to tell me to sit down and read a book.
There's an ad, guys.
Look, Tommy decided to go to college after he
Make sure you
graduated,
download
but chose
game.
one that was super close to home so that he wouldn't have to be away too often. He began working from his study in the guest house, and so he could really help me with all the babies. You might be asking yourself if my third pregnancy resulted in triplets again. Well, no, but it wasn't one either. It was twins, a girl and a boy. I was super busy all the time. I'm not going to lie, but at the same time, I didn't want to stop. I wanted to have more and more children. Sure, I could have simply gotten pregnant again, but that sort of seemed a bit selfish. There are so many orphan children in this country, and I felt like I could both expand my beautiful family and give children without a home a loving mom and dad, as well as lots of siblings. So I spoke to Tommy about my idea, and he absolutely loved it. But he told me that before he wanted to buy me a big house. So while I began doing the paperwork to get us in the list to adopt orphan kids, he searched for a perfect house to raise our huge family in. We already had 8 biological children, and I was determined to adopt 10 more. It was not an easy task, but I was determined to achieve it. Now, don't be thinking...
We don't care.